There are stories the world never fully talks about, secrets, legends, and real-life moments that can change the way you see everything. Today, we're diving deep into one of those untold stories, full of drama, truth, and shocking details you won't forget. So if you're ready for something real, stay with me till the end. The hidden power of Europe. In modern global politics, power does not always come from loud speeches or dramatic appearances. Sometimes, the most powerful figures are the ones who work in silence, behind closed doors, shaping decisions that affect hundreds of millions of lives. And in Europe today, one of those figures is Ursula von der Leyen, a woman who does not always dominate headlines like traditional world leaders, but whose decisions define the direction of an entire continent. To understand her story, we must go beyond politics and step into a journey of discipline, leadership, pressure, and transformation. Early life and background. Ursula von der Leyen was born into a family already connected with politics and public service in Germany. From a young age, she grew up in an environment where responsibility, discipline, and public duty were part of everyday life. But unlike many political figures who immediately enter politics, her early ambitions were not fully focused on leadership. She studied economics initially and later shifted into medicine, a field that reflects her interest in structure, care, and problem solving. She eventually became a trained physician, specializing in women's health. This part of her life is often overlooked, but it is important because it shaped something critical in her personality: a calm, analytical approach to crisis situations, a mindset focused on systems diagnosis and solutions, not emotion-driven decisions, but structured thinking. At this stage, she was not yet a political figure, but the foundation of leadership was already forming. Entry into politics. Her entry into politics was not accidental. It was gradual but strategic. She joined German political life through the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, a center-right political party in Germany. Over time, she began taking on roles related to family affairs, labor, and social policy. This was where she first became known as a serious policymaker. She worked on issues such as family support systems, gender equality policies, workforce reform, social protection structures. Her political style was different from traditional politicians. She did not rely heavily on emotional speeches. Instead, she focused on policy design and administrative structure. This made her both respected and sometimes criticized, but it also made her reliable in crisis situations. Rise in German government. Her political career accelerated when she entered Germany's federal cabinet. She became one of the most influential ministers in Germany, holding several major positions over time. One of her most important roles was as defense minister. This was a turning point, because defense is one of the most complex and politically sensitive roles in any government. During her time, she worked on modernizing military structure, improving defense readiness, reforming internal systems, increasing international cooperation. However, her tenure was not without controversy. Defense ministries are often under heavy scrutiny, and she faced criticism regarding efficiency and procurement processes. But despite challenges, she remained a central political figure in Germany. What stood out was her ability to stay composed under pressure. Even during political debates, she maintained a controlled, structured communication style. This would later become a defining trait in her European leadership era. Her biggest transformation came when she moved from national politics to European leadership. She became president of the European Commission, one of the most powerful positions in the European Union. This role is not like a traditional presidency. It involves coordinating policies across European countries, managing economic frameworks, handling international relations, responding to global crises. In this position, Ursula von der Leyen became responsible for decisions that affect the entire European Union, from trade policies to climate agreements to international diplomacy. Her influence extended far beyond Germany. And unlike national leadership, European leadership requires constant negotiation between different countries, cultures, and political interests. This makes it one of the most complex political roles in the world. Leadership during global crises. Her leadership became more visible during global crises. When Europe faced major challenges, including economic pressure, energy security concerns, and international conflicts. She played a central role in coordination and response. Her approach remained consistent: calm communication, structured planning, long-term strategy, multilateral cooperation. She is often described as a stabilizer in European politics, someone who focuses on maintaining unity during instability. However, this also brought criticism. Some argue that European institutions move slowly. Others say decision-making is too bureaucratic. But supporters believe the system requires patience and negotiation rather than speed. And in that system, she plays a key coordinating role: personal life and balance. Despite her powerful position, Ursula von der Leyen maintains a relatively private personal life. She is known to keep her family life away from political attention. She is married and has children, and she has often emphasized the importance of balancing professional responsibility with family values. Unlike many political figures who actively build personal media presence, she maintains controlled public image. No excessive publicity, no dramatic personal exposure. This adds to her reputation as a reserved but highly disciplined leader. Her personality is often described as calm, structured, and methodical. Even under pressure, she rarely displays emotional reactions in public settings. Public image and political style. Her leadership style is often categorized as technocratic. This means focus on systems rather than politics, focus on coordination rather than confrontation, focus on long-term planning rather than short-term popularity. This approach is both her strength and her criticism point. Supporters say it creates stability in Europe. Critics say it lacks emotional connection with citizens. But in global institutions like the EU, emotional politics often takes a backseat to structured governance. Her communication style is also highly diplomatic. She avoids unnecessary conflict. She prefers negotiation and institutional dialogue. Her role in modern Europe. Today, Ursula von der Leyen stands at the center of European decision-making. Her influence includes economic policy coordination, climate strategy, development foreign policy, alignment crisis, response frameworks. In many ways, she represents a new model of leadership in Europe. Not loud, not populist, but institutional and strategic. She is part of a generation of leaders who operate through systems rather than personality-driven politics. And in a rapidly changing global world, this type of leadership is becoming increasingly important. The final question. So, when we look at Ursula von der Leyen, what do we see? A politician, a technocrat, a crisis manager, or a silent architect of modern Europe? Ursula von der Leyen. Perhaps the answer is all of these at once. Because in today's world, power is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet, structured, and invisible to most. But its impact is everywhere. And history will decide how this quiet leadership shaped the future of Europe. And that's the story for today. But the question still remains, what do you think about it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd really like to hear your opinion. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss more powerful stories like this. See you in the next video. Until then, stay curious.